The American frontier in the late 19th century was a brutal place, and its outlaws reflected that reality. Men who made their living robbing banks and trains usually did so with a quick-trigger violence that left a trail of bodies in their wake. Robert LeRoy Parker, better known as Butch Cassidy, broke that mold. Today, largely thanks to the 1969 Academy Award-winning film starring Paul Newman, we remember Cassidy as a charming, clean-cut rogue. Cassidy directed a series of bank and train robberies that spanned several western states. This interstate crime spree pulled in tens of thousands of dollars and triggered a years-long manhunt by the elite Pinkerton National Detective Agency. Yet the people he robbed didn't describe a monster. Witnesses consistently remembered a well-dressed, exceptionally polite man who stayed calm under pressure and actively went out of his way to avoid hurting anyone. This courteous demeanor made him incredibly popular, eventually sparking rumors that he was a frontier Robin Hood. The historical record, however, shows no evidence that he ever redistributed his stolen cash to the poor. So how did a man responsible for so much stolen wealth and chaos manage to construct a gentlemanly legacy that almost entirely eclipsed his actual crimes? The roots of that persona started in the Utah Territory. Born in 1866, Parker was the eldest of 13 children in a Mormon ranching family that constantly struggled to make ends meet on the rugged frontier. Around 1880, as a teenager, he committed his first recorded crime. Needing clothes, he found a local store locked for the night, broke in, and took a single pair of jeans. He left a handwritten note on the counter promising to return and pay for the trousers later. To the store owner, it was still theft, but it established a bizarre pattern of behavior that would define Parker's reputation. Years later, in 1894, he was caught stealing horses and sentenced to 2 years in the Wyoming State Prison. While locked inside, his uniquely polite, cooperative behavior earned him the respect of the guards. He made such a strong impression as a model inmate that the governor of Wyoming actually granted him a pardon in 1896. Cassidy quickly realized that projecting an illusion of honor, being agreeable, and keeping people calm were far more effective tools for surviving the frontier than simply drawing a loaded gun. Immediately after leaving prison, he organized the Wild Bunch. This gang became legendary, largely due to Cassidy's tight partnership with his closest companion, Harry Longabaugh, better known as the Sundance Kid. Together, they operated under a strict philosophy. Instead of brute force, they relied on gathering intelligence, meticulous planning, and using instinct to get what they wanted. They actively tried to leave every robbery without firing a shot. This focus on nonviolence sat alongside the literal destruction required for their specialty, train robberies. The Wild Bunch focused their efforts on Union Pacific Express cars, targets that demanded the use of heavy explosives. In June 1899, near Wilcox, Wyoming, the gang used enough dynamite to blow the express car apart. The blast was far larger than expected, scattering tens of thousands of dollars and heavy debris across the landscape. Even as his crew was creating massive damage, Cassidy's personal reputation held strong. The public continued to romanticize him as a charming, non-lethal rebel, striking out against wealthy railroad monopolies. Railroad companies eventually had enough. They hired the Pinkertons, who relentlessly tracked the gang across state lines, until Cassidy, Sundance, and a schoolteacher named Etta Place were forced to flee the United States entirely. In 1901, they bought a ranch in Patagonia, Argentina, attempting to live quietly as respectable cattlemen. Neighbors found Cassidy hardworking and friendly, but financial trouble soon caught up with them, pushing the pair right back into robbing banks and mining payrolls. Their luck finally ran out in November 1908 in San Vicente, Bolivia. After a suspected payroll robbery, Bolivian soldiers surrounded their location, sparking a fierce, drawn-out gun battle that left both outlaws severely wounded. According to the most accepted historical account, Cassidy shot his dying friend to spare him further suffering, then turned the gun on himself. But almost immediately, stories surfaced from family members claiming he had secretly survived, returned to America under an assumed name, and lived out his days in peace. Decades later, researchers excavated the Bolivian gravesite and conducted DNA testing on the remains. The results failed to provide any conclusive proof that the bodies belonged to Cassidy or Sundance. Because there is no absolute proof of his death, the myth was allowed to cement itself in history. His charismatic, nonviolent reputation combined perfectly with the vanishing act, giving the public a legendary figure who managed to outsmart the harsh, brutal reality of the Wild West until the very end.